Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. First item on the agenda is to approve the minutes from 11/6/24. That's in your packet, and it is under page 2 to page 4. A motion's order, or if we're going to make some changes or deletions.
Motion to accept.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, any debate? If there is no debate, all in favor say aye.
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 I'm gonna abstain because I wasn't here.
And one abstention. I think everybody on cameras raised their hand or said aye. Okay? I don't hear a no, so. And one abstention. You got that? Okay. Okay, transfer station updates.
I'm gonna go through a couple for staff. We're rocking and rolling.
So that's going to go in the manager's report?
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay. Okay, 2025 meeting schedule need to be approved. That's on page 5. Motion's order to accept that schedule for next year.
Motion to accept. Second.
Do I hear a second? Any other debate? Everybody's okay with these dates? All in favor say aye.
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 I don't hear any notes, and I see a hand up. Is that a question, or are you just
No,
voting?
she's voting.
Voting, thank you. Okay, item 5, haulers, commercial haulers permit application. And that is on page 6 of your packet. I take it anything that's in yellow is a change?
No changes.
No changes, okay.
This is the same as it's been for some time.
So is this something that every single hauler has to have and fill out?
Yes. For the first of the year.
I tried and I couldn't get it to work. But then again, is it Woolley, 1966? I'm trying to remember.
Somebody rang.
Who's
It's
speaking?
the caller,
That would be
Clint-
called-
Clint's phone.
Oh, okay.
Mark, is there any charge on this? What do you charge for haulers?
No charge.
No charge?
No.
Just fill it out and send it back in?
That's right.
Okay.
It'll be up to date.
The key thing is the certificate of insurance, so we know they're protected.
Do we need to take any action, or is this just,
Move to approve.
Move to approve will be in order.
I move to approve the,
Second.
And I hear a second. Any other debate? If not, all in favor say aye.
aye.
Okay, item 6, hazardous materials, waste roving schedule.
Rover events, yes.
Oh, okay.
Going out to
This is
town.
to the towns,
Correct.
and we're approving this schedule here.
This, yes, sir, this schedule is pretty much similar to what was last year, given, take it, trying to, the days are always off from year to year, but this is the closest it can be, and it worked great. This also has some strengths in there, just in case cancellation or staffing issues happen, there's ample time to catch up.
So can I ask, because Mendon's not on there, is that because we don't have a transfer station or something?
That's correct.
That's correct.
And you can come to the depot 6
So they don't
days a
go to
week.
this,
You can come to the,
is this actually about teaching also?
No,
Just picking up.
collections.
So they can't like make a collection point for people to go to?
it would.
In Mendon?
In the depot. Come, it's right next door.
In Rutland City?
Right,
Yeah.
So all these towns, they go to the same place? They go to
they have
Rutland?
their own transfer stations
Or
already
spot.
in place.
Or spots.
or spots, or locations, correct.
Locations,
Yeah, right.
yes, because we got this location.
Move to approve the schedule as
Presented?
presented.
Okay. Do I hear a second? Okay.
I just had one question, Mark. There was a rumor in Castleton that you were gonna cut ours back to two events. Do you have any idea where that started or came from, or?
I can't comment on comments. I mean, I don't know. It's not.
Yeah,
There's three on here.
Yeah, there's three on.
Okay.
There's three on, there's one,
Yeah, what
one
we
in
do is every
April.
year, they take the study, they figure out how many people come to each one. And then if we need to, we might cut one back because they only had one person come.
Okay.
At each one or something like that, is to send the whole crew for one pickup, you know? So we'll adjust it at that time.
Caller one.
Sorry.
No, not you.
Oh,
Caller one's got a lot of background feed, and I interrupted.
Clint, can you put your microphone on mute?
Let me try here.
Okay. Thank you, sir. It's a little.
Nothing,
button on the
nothing, we
bottom.
don't, it doesn't mean we don't like you, it's just we're picking up some extra background stuff.
Yeah. Castleton is, well, sometimes they're the biggest participants, and we've even extended the hours above and beyond
Okay.
other towns to accommodate the town. So the cutting back is something that I would talk to you well before.
Okay.
And as you can see, there's 2 per day, so the team is moving from one location to the other. And they made them pretty easy, so they're kind of close together, like West Rutland, Castleton, Brandon, Pittsford. They're sort of close together. The only one that's going to be tough is the Mount Holly Killington one. That's a haul to get to one to the
They're
other.
not real big.
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then what was it, the other one's Wells, somewhere, well, Castleton to Wells, that's not too bad.
That's not too bad.
But still.
So there's a motion on the floor. Any more debate? Any more? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. All right, the item 7, draft of the 25 capital improvement plan, and that is from page 13 to I'm getting there. 31. And the spreadsheet is on page
16?
16.
No?
No, 20,
16 on the bottom. 31.
31. Thank you.
Can I ask a question about page 1 under December 30th, 2024 budget hearing? Do we do a newspaper or clipping 7 days prior to that meeting to inform people?
Yes.
Is this the one you're looking for?
Yeah, thank you.
It's 16.
16, thank you. That gives you the schedule, what's going in per year, and then also gives you the year of 25, what we're actually putting in. The capital expense, we're setting money aside from our budget every month to build up that capital fund to do these projects, so we're not going to bonding and funding and spending a lot of money on interest. We're sort of bonding ourselves, so we're saving a lot of money. And this was a move that the board took, 5 years ago?
More than that.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been doing this probably 10.
Yeah.
It's gone back quite a ways.
This is definitely a good financial management tool, and the money's there when things are broken, and we can get them fixed without financing.
Yes.
Now we got more better tracking of them too, to
That's
what we need to
correct.
replace.
That's correct.
An order that we got now, we got an order now,
Yeah.
gotta be
And
done.
this, having done this for so long, it gives us a very enviable position where when times get tighter and budgets get leaner, we're already ahead of the curve. Has anything changed on this from the last couple times we've discussed this, or is?
It has not changed.
Okay. So for the folks at home who are watching, the funds that are coming out of our expenses for the year is $285,000, which goes into the capital fund. Out of that $285,000, $75,000 goes towards the front-end loader. Is that what that is?
Yeah.
Capital front-end loader. And then the transfer station scale house project, $175,000 of the total project. That does not what the cost is. It's just part of it. And $35,000 goes to the box truck, the van.
That's the
25
scale
foot.
house, you're off by one line.
Oh, I'm sorry. The scale house. I'm sorry. Thank you. And then we have a carryover of $25,000 from last year for the diversity grant.
About 24 something.
24 something, right. Just so people at home know what we're doing here.
Do we,
Need a motion to accept the capital plan, because then that's going to get folded into the budget.
I move to accept the capital plan as presented?
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Any debate, any questions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next item on the agenda is the actual budget for 2025. And that starts at 31, which goes to 34. So how do you want to do this? You want to do each section at a time, or
I could do it like we did it with the...
like we did to the executive?
Yep.
So
This also goes...
should we talk about what the executive board suggested? I don't think we voted, did we?
We did a motion.
We did a motion, so that should come to the floor.
Yeah.
Okay.
That motion was...
I don't remember the motion, to tell you the truth.
To accept the...
The minutes are
budget.
online.
To accept the budget.
Didn't we move to present this as the budget?
Yes.
To the board.
This has actually changed it a little bit.
Because we had you go back
We
and
had
look
you
at
do
some
a few
stuff,
things,
yes.
yeah.
Right, on the last page, the Murph stuff.
So
there.
why don't you, on the issues that we brought up on the executive board, would you bring those to the full board of what we asked for
Yes, sir.
before we vote on the whole thing here?
Yep. Let me go through, start off, there's the revenue source and go into administration. Some of the key things here that you're going to see under general revenue, that's going to include some yield in our investments next year. But that's also going to be offset by some of the expenses that go into direct deposit and so forth like that. So you see that increase in revenue anticipation in the first row. And the next item is tip and surcharge. If you take a look at the narrative in detail of what the surcharge is and where we stand with this, I've been talking about a surcharge of $25, which would be still the lowest in any similar like district, to pay for some of the expenses that we need to do. With that said, that figure is in there as that increase. Moving from recycling, we have the sale of recycling. It's pretty self-explanatory. Yard waste brush, yard compost program. C&D is a small program. Some of the things that we get here is the revenue source of the mixed C&D going over the scale. And we're trying to anticipate that revenue source to offset the expenses. Right now, it's down from last year based on what we're seeing this year. If you take a look of the actual expenses, and you see that highlighted up at the top of the page under the yellow, where this figure is from September 30th, 2024, that's been reconciled, plus a little bit more, which means that October's hasn't been reconciled. So I'm looking at that as one of the many of the guides to anticipate revenue for this. Next thing is C&D, HHW expenses. We've been doing really well on anticipating, managing, I should say, how HHW is operated. We're to the point where expenses are less, although it's still a very highly deficit program, but that deficit is less. So I'm anticipating less revenue. Food waste, we have an opportunity to look for a process where revenues would be, expenses would be less. So this is anticipating less revenues we need to anticipate the less costs. And at the transfer station, these prices reflect scale prices with volumes, and it's about the same thing as the revenue for administration, which is about 11%. So overall, revenues we're anticipating to be $2,689,522.
I apologize for arriving late, ladies and gentlemen.
Bruce?
We've got quite the blow up here in Northwood.
Ooh. I'm glad you made it, Bruce Dawkins. Well,
I've been here about 10 minutes. I didn't want to interrupt you.
thank
Sure,
you.
okay, thank you, Bruce.
We're on page 31 in the budget.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, good. We're about to go into expenses. Administration, a lot of some of these expenses that you see, and let me get that sheet out I have for. Staffing. On the top of these expense lines, you're going to see staffing items like salaries, payroll, workers' comp, unemployment, which has been dovetailed to include the child care expense, retirement, insurance, and so forth like that. Wages over last year are up 1.5%, which is a change of $10,468. Medical, Blue Cross Blue Shield, vision, dental, short and long-term disability, and life insurance is up 4.3%, or $9,706. And we have retirement. Retirement is up 10.4%, which is $3,050 over last year. You'll notice that just the premium on medical insurance was 19.5, but the staff who determine what type of policy they need, or if they already have a policy and they take the buyout, that affects that number greatly. So we do have members, I think there's like 3 members that have to buy out. So that's helping that out. So when we go through these salary things, and you see these adjustments, but also when you get into the different departments, just as administration, and then you see areas like recycling, staff that work in recycling will put their salary hours into this recycling area. Sometimes they work in multiple areas. So it would be split between recycling and HHW or the transfer station. And so that is constantly changing. Probably the number one thing is changeover in staff, or just a new staff person coming in, now I want to do household hazardous waste, which is what we're trying to do for one more person here. He started out in recycle, and now he's going to HHW. He's taking one training, he's going to be taking another one Friday, and he's just going to be spending more and more time up there. But it has to be where he is monitored all the time until he takes his 40-hour HHW training. We're looking to do 3 people in household hazardous waste training this year, a 40-hour course. But that's let me get into that as we go.
Question?
Yes, sir.
Your workers' comp or unemployment insurance and child care, you're hitting it all at one time in the administration, but you're not breaking it down for each section for labor through the budget? Because I don't see a line item in
That's
here. It
correct.
looks like you're
It's
doing
on
it
the
all at
agenda.
one time.
Yeah, it's always
Okay.
been, and that's the format of the finances since I've been here. It's all
Okay,
been
no,
on- So I just added.
I just want to make sure we're aware of that.
0.44% of his employee salary was added to that childcare. I added that into the line,
Are we paid 100% or is it a match?
100%.
Oh,
It's small, it's small.
I know.
You know, but it's not like the city. When you told me what the number for the city was, I think my jaw dropped.
Yeah.
One other question. The two people that just got hired,
Oh.
oh, is
Okay,
that
I'm
something
sorry.
else?
Nope.
I was just wondering about the date for insurance wise, is there numbers in here for what they're gonna take for insurance?
Yes.
Or are they?
It's in there.
It's in here,
And there's
okay.
more to that story when I get to my manager.
Okay,
sheet.
okay, sorry.
But that, it is in there,
Okay, so the newest employees are on there?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Okay, so, going down to the administration aspect. I looked at, one of the aspects of reducing this, of tweaking it, was that the cost of the landscaping for the new stormwater project. Once upon a time, I thought it was gonna be a lot of money, $10,000 in itself. But after getting some estimates, it's not. So we were able to save some money on that. And on the bottom, on the second to last one, where you see capital reserve fund, and you'll see that go into this capital improvement fund of the 285. And then the grand total, which suggests that this is 5% higher than previous years. It has a net income, though, of $236,528, with the revenues offsetting the expenses. Recycling, yep.
Mark, can I ask a question?
Yes, I'm sorry, Paul. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So I see on admin that your health insurance is going down.
Yeah. Well, we have two people in that department that have the buyout. So that reduces it.
So they're not on a family package, or they're not a family of two package, or whatever it is, you know, family with kids, family without kids, that type of thing.
If they do a buyout, it's 5,000.
Yep,
Correct.
Yeah. Which, a family package is like
17,
17, 2,000, 2,500, 25,000, some.
then higher up.
C&D, this is offset by, we're trying to get the price of what is the product cost. And I've been separating these little sections where if a person works with the C&D, let's get credit and find out what the real cost of that program is. This is usually a revenue maker, which shows that it's $180,830 revenue over expenses. When you get into household hazardous waste, you're going to see some segment of this cost being offset too. Disposal, our vendor is increasing their prices 6%. Based on current revenue sources, you'll see how I didn't dramatically increase the price of expenses anticipated. I'm not sure how or why that is at that level. I'm thinking that it's a figure since September, but it has some room to wiggle. Right now, it's only sometimes this deficit would be $190,000. You're gonna see it, I'm anticipating it being a lot less than that these days. Food waste, as I talked about, looking for an option to decrease our cost. This cost is also reflected in this budget. Next section is the transfer station. And similar chart of accounts. A lot of it is similar to the previous.
Mark, can you explain your reasoning on the transfer station scale fees, why that's up 157%? I thought you said we were getting less and less tonnage coming into the transfer station.
Let me look at that.
Budgeted 70,000 last year, and you've taken in 143,000.
Scale fees.
Scale fees, yes, that line. So you bumped it up 180,000 for next year?
I think you're on the, he's back at on the revenue side. Is that where?
Yeah, I am on the revenue side, yeah.
Okay.
I
Page 31.
We're on revenue side?
Yeah, he's on the
I
revenue.
am, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I just don't want to
I
get,
was wondering why, I couldn't
Get too
I
find,
far
couldn't
ahead.
find what he was talking about here.
I
yeah.
couldn't find out where he was either. We're on the next one.
Well, if you take a look at that whole row, and you see last year's budget,
I did,
and you see what we received so far.
okay.
But that's only up until
So
the
that's
30th.
That's
of
twice of
September.
what we
So you have
budgeted.
another quarter to go.
Right.
Okay.
So that, you see where.
So that might be, well,
I do see with that, but I'm just going by what you said, there was less and less stuff coming into the transfer
That's
station.
not necessarily true.
I mean, these numbers say just the opposite. So I guess I don't know, is there less and less coming in, or is there more coming in, or?
I'm going by the numbers.
Part of it is the increase in the surcharge too.
It'll be higher, it'll be a little bit more. But that's, yeah,
But that won't be true if your tonnage goes down.
Right, it would offset the
Yeah.
reduction by some amount.
Yeah. And we just talked about it at the last meeting, how less and less haulers are coming into your transfer station, so.
Well, fewer haulers and fewer tonnage don't necessarily align.
Well, you're not gonna reach your budget if you're under, according to this, you take in 46,440 tons a year. And you're basing all your numbers next year on that tonnage, so. You see what I'm saying? See where I'm going with this?
Yep.
If you're telling me less and less tonnage is coming in there, you're not gonna have 46,440 tons coming in the transfer station. So you're not gonna reach these numbers. I just want to point that out.
there's a lot of variables out there over the year as we go through this, and we look at the volumes as we monitor it. And right now, I don't have a crystal ball to say exactly how it's gonna be, I don't think anyone does. But.
well, I kind of have a feeling what it's going to be. With the amount of building permits that are now flying out of the door in Rutland City, with all the new housing incentives that are coming down from the state, we're going to see a big jump in remodeling on a lot of these old homes. So that product is going to have to go somewhere. And obviously, we're going to be handling it because we're in the city. So there's definitely going to be a jump there. Because you're going to have probably at least 18 units under construction starting next spring. So
That's a big awful guess, Mr. Gillen, to say that they're going to come through your transfer station when they're not now. I'm just pointing out a fact.
well, they were going through the houses that we did this year, gone through the transfer station. The people in Maple
I think
Street and all those other
The
places.
people the haulers that do come through are those that have been coming along since I've been here.
Right.
They haven't changed.
Good.
Okay, to finish off with the transfers. on
You're back.
expenses,
Where are you now?
Page 33 on the expenses of
Thank
the
you.
transfer station. Right now, we're looking at the bottom line, we're looking at a 10% increase over last year's. Or if you take a look at revenues over expenses, we're looking for $101,000 deficit. So some departments have the surpluses, and some have the negatives. We don't charge for recycling. We charge for the trash, which offsets programs like HHW, recycling, and so forth like that. And it comes out to a balanced budget of $2,689,522, sorry, which is a 6.7% increase over last year.
Okay, so we're now on the MRF.
Under the MRF, this hasn't changed in some time. At the E-Board meeting, it was asked that I give detail for each of the lines, and if you turn the page, it gives the income statement, and it gives all the rows, and each of the rows is identified with all the expenses that were incurred in each of these lines. So,
And other financing sources with what?
It's accounting. It's an account that we use to transfer funds from the general fund to the MRF to cover some of the stuff that needs to be paid for. It's just an offset. It comes out of the general fund, goes in the MRF or vice versa.
is that like utilities or insurance?
No, yeah, it's related in part to insurance, but, I mean, I'd have to look exactly what we plugged in there recently, but it's not an actual expense or income, it's just a transfer between the two funds.
So this is coming from the general fund into the MRF,
Right.
is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right,
So part of accounting principles, you gotta put that down as revenue from one to the other.
right.
Right, okay.
Shows up as an expense in general fund and income to them.
So I see on page 34, you have the water and sewer, but then on page, I don't see any electric. Is there no electric? Or no heat? Is that zero?
Are they separate bills?
I'm not sure exactly where the electric's going, but the most pays its own electric.
So they have their own meter over there.
I'm not sure where it is on this budget, but it's,
If you take a look at page 37, we have the water and sewer lines.
Do we have a separate meter here for our electric,
yes,
for 1,000 square feet?
yes.
So our electric doesn't go under MRF?
We
Whose
pay-
$900 water bill is that?
That's the MERS portion of the water and sewer.
That's a 23,000? I mean, the 30, how many thousand feet do they have over there, 23,000? And we have 1,000.
Right.
So that 900 is for which?
I don't see the 900 rate.
This is on
the
page
budget.
34.
Yeah.
Top line, page 34.
That hasn't been adjusted yet for the project that I'm still working on to get the expenses recuperated based on our conversation of the last
Okay.
meeting. I've been out for the better part of 2.5 weeks, so that's just been in the works.
Okay, so where might the electric be for
It's probably,
both of these?
I don't know where it's plugged in, but in the
Okay.
financials, it's going to. Top of my head, I don't honestly know where it's showing up in here, but it's, the MRF is paying for it, so it's probably,
Is the MRF paying for it, or is the tenant paying for it, I think is.
They have their own
They
electric.
have their own electric over there.
They have
pay
their own electric
right,
meter over
South
there.
pays their own bill, we pay
So
our
they're-
own bill, First Light Electric pays for the electric in that building out in the parking lot. It's based on actual meter usage.
So everybody's got their own meter.
Right.
But
So
there
we-
there wouldn't be electric on the MRF budget because it's not part of our books. It's part of the tenant's books.
So we have two separate electric meters, but we only have one water meter. That's why the water
Traditionally, the
is
water
on
bill's been-
MRF?
Traditionally, the
Yes.
water bill's been split 50/50, which, as we know, is not supposed to be done, so it'll be 30-1, basically, based on the square footage.
So that top line will change, because you've got $900 in there, and we're already over $124 through 9 months of this year. So that 900 is gonna change, right?
Well, the 900 would be the budget, and right now they've got 0 as their anticipated expense.
So somebody's else is gonna be paying for that?
Or from the, it'll just get pulled against that 900. So,
But you see what I'm talking about, Gabe? Is we're already over $124 this year, and that's only 9 months. So we're
Yeah.
gonna be way over the $900 from last year.
right, but he's expecting that he's not gonna have to spend money next year, but they're still holding the $900 budget. So this budget might get recycled into other funds once it's done. So
Okay, so
nothing might get spent against that.
Somebody else is gonna be paying that, is that what you're telling me?
Yeah,
Potentially,
Leon
yeah.
Casella's gonna be paying.
Yeah, the vast
for the
majority.
Water and sewer.
Okay.
their Portion would be 30-1.
Okay,
They've got 30,000 square feet, we've got 1,000. So
okay.
the water and sewer, they'll be 3-1. For insurance, I believe the contract says they have to cover the whole insurance bill. So the amount that we've traditionally booked to the MRF, I would think Casella's gonna be on the hook for it.
Where do I find the insurance? What page is it on? Just so I know what you're talking about.
That's gonna be in the other. It's not-
Is it the property and liability line?
Is that under administration?
Page 33 for expenses of MRF.
No, that's just the general ledger. 30,
Property and liability down at the bottom, $22,000.
Yes, property, sorry, yes, that's the property
Okay.
liability.
So that won't be ours.
It shouldn't be based on that contract. And then, the scale is actually generally paid for the general fund, but, the contract, I believe, says 50/50, the scale maintenance. So, that'll be something that'll be coming out of the general fund. It'll be a reduction of expense in the general fund.
So a lot of these items that are budgeted here, like we've just discussed, we're holding a budget there in this presentation, but it seems likely from what you're saying that the expenses next year that would be applied to them
I would-
could be greatly lessened from what is budgeted for.
I would predict
And-
for the MRF that would be significant.
For the MRF side of that, and then those funds for the following year, having not been, we would reconcile for budget year '26 based on what we see next year. Okay.
Do you know when you'll have an answer to that, Greg?
I mean, Mark's talked to the management over there, and they seem on board with it. I've gotten a significant way through digging out all the expenses that we paid, because we're gonna go back to September of 2001, when the contract took effect, so I've found, I think it was 18 or 19 different accounts that we have expenses in, between the MRF and general fund. Pulling all those out, figuring out which ones they pay 30-1, which ones they pay 50/50. So I'm, pretty close to getting that done, so I imagine for the next few days I'll send that to Casella.
So they're gonna pay back all those years?
Well, it's 4 years.
Oh, just 4 years?
I think it's
Not
just
2001?
2021.
2020, okay, okay. I heard 2001 come out of your mouth,
Yeah,
yeah.
you meant
Okay,
2020.
September 2020.
okay.
So 4 years.
You let us know the second that happens? Okay.
I feel that it's still prudent to hold the budgets the way that we have it.
Right.
Until we actually realize the money.
Oh, I
And then-
understand.
And then we can take those actuals like he says, and adjust for '26.
So that'll
when we see
that'll
them.
change the actuals for the last quarter.
Yep.
Yes.
They show it in the last
But that's gonna be an artificial blip, so we just need to be cautious how
Correct.
we
Absolutely.
all see how that's just a reconciliation that's not going to adjust anything other than what our actuals for '25 will be, and then how we adjust our budget for '26. It'll show a spike in '24 or '25, whenever that payment reconciliation
Right.
happens, but just everybody keep in mind that that's not the reality of what the long term is. Yes.
I'm extremely disappointed, though, that we as a district didn't realize a contract that was supposedly in place. This is why I'm against raising the fees for the haulers, because we don't even know where our own contract is, and we've been paying things that we should have never been paying for 4 years, and that's a lot of money. including perhaps the $400,000 for stormwater, which is a whole nother big issue. So I don't see why you should put a burden on haulers, because their costs are way up for them on a lot of stuff also. That's just how I feel.
You have a rough figure for the savings you would see from shifting this cost burden to Casella on an annual basis
Related to what line?
in terms of water and sewer, in terms of insurance?
You look at, you take. a
Water and
look at-
sewer, we're only talking about MRF, we're not talking about the scales or anything else. This is just this building here.
If you take a quick page.
Well, are we talking about the scales though? Because Greg, did you say they're supposed to pay 50%, but we weren't doing that?
Yeah, I believe the contract says the scale maintenance. is
Yeah,
$50,
the contract does say it. I have it right here if you want to look at it.
So the scale would be 50/50, but that's traditionally been paid out of the general fund, so that piece of it would be a benefit to the general fund. Water and sewer, you're talking, a few $100, maybe $1,000 a year. Property and liability insurance, that's the biggest piece of it. It's $20,000 something dollars, so that would be the biggest savings for each year. And then, beyond that, it's,
That's only going to affect the MRF
yeah.
budget.
In general, it's just going to be the MERP. There's only the scales coming out of the general fund.
Do you have a rough dollar figure off the top of your head?
The scale is.
I meant all of it, put together, for the last 4 years.
For everything for 4 years, it's going to be roughly $22,000 a year for insurance for 3.5, 4 years. So that's,
88,000?
something like that. And then, water and sewer,
$1,000 a year?
about $1,000 a year.
So we're up to 92.
And then the rest, there isn't a whole lot beyond that, so, yeah, I would think over the 4 years, 90, 80,
Okay.
90.
Okay.
And then the scale with the general fund, it's about 700 to 800 a year, so they pay half of that, so another couple grand.
The other thing that's really questionable is what does 50% of scale maintenance mean? Does that also mean the personnel that's working with their software?
No, that just means the scaled maintenance,
Yeah.
period.
We maintain this, we have the vendor come out twice a year to calibrate the scales, make sure they're accurate,
That's a
and
state
to
law.
ensure that it passes state inspection. And we do that 2 times a year, up here and up at the transfer station.
What's the
That's
bill
it.
on that, Mark? Do you know what the bill is on that roughly?
It's about $600
Each time? So $1,200 a year?
Yeah, each visit is about.
And that covers both here and up to the,
each. Yeah, no, actually, yeah, both. Is it both?
Yeah, each visit is about $600 to $700 per visit, twice a year.
that covers both scales though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would track that the expense here is about 800, like Greg said.
Right. They're half.
And if anything larger happened, then they would also pay 50% of whatever the cost is to repair.
Maintenance.
Is
Is it
repair
maintenance or
also?
maintenance? No, repair is different than maintenance. I don't know
That's what I
how it's
think.
worded.
So,
Any other questions?
Do we make a motion on this?
make a motion to accept the first one, the budget.
I move to accept the 25 budget plan as presented
With the number, right?
with
the number 2,668,952.
with total revenues matching total expenses of $2,689,522.
I'll second it.
Second. Any further debate? Everybody okay at home? Any questions?
Nope.
Okay, all right. Oh, So all in favor say aye.
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 I don't hear any no's, so we have.
No.
Well, I'm saying
You
no
have to say all
too.
opposed.
Okay.
Hmm?
You have to say all opposed.
All opposed?
I'm
No.
saying no.
So 2 no. So that motion also included that $25 surcharge, which is up by $2.50, correct? $2.50. You'll see that on page 23, the breakdown for next year's. That starts January 1st.
Do we need a separate motion for the MRF?
Yes, we do.
I am ready to battle and fight no matter the risk. From children, that's
Bruce is doing.
I will be called.
On TV, Bruce.
Bruce, could you please put your mic on mute?
Start.
Bruce?
Bruce, could you put your mic off, please? Thank
Thank
you.
you.
I move to accept to, are we accepting or are we, what are we, is this?
As
to
presented.
present
Yes.
the MRF budget as presented with the total of $88,239 budget.
What page is that, Kate? What page is that?
That's
Page 34.
34 again? Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
And you hear a second?
I have not heard a second.
Paul, we will second.
Okay, we got a second from Paul.
Paul, yeah. Paul
Thank you.
Dawson.
Any further debate? All in favor, say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
Nay on me too.
2 nays. Okay? And now we set the public hearing. We need a motion for that.
Yes.
Made.
Which is on the last page of your packet.
The motion is
Last page?
budget.
Or last page? Oh, here we go. There you are.
It's on the, it's page 61, if you go chronologically.
Yeah. Okay. Where's the public hearing?
Which is the Monday after Christmas.
Which matches the budget schedule we proposed long
That's
ago. That's back on whatever page it was.
So I'll accept the motion to set the public hearing and post it.
So move.
Here's a second.
Second.
Any further? Oh, go ahead. You have a question?
I think it was a second.
Okay, second. Okay, no problem. Any further debate? If not, all in favor say aye.
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Passes unanimously. That's done. Okay. So Mark, you'll take care of warning all that and the proper procedures?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we want to talk about monthly financials?
May I ask one question before that? So on this notice of the public hearing, so when we go down to the budget plan and CIP at their regular meeting on January 8th, 2000, that says 2024, but is that going to be 25? Is that a typo?
When did that begin? Could be.
Oh, yeah, that's supposed to be 25.
Yeah,
Yeah.
25 at 6:30. Is that when the final budget gets approved by the Board of Supervisors?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And what day did you say that hauler's fee is going to be effective at $25?
It's going to be the first of the year.
So January 1st?
Yes.
So even though the budget isn't approved by January 1st, because the budget will be approved on January 8th, that still goes into effect?
It could be,
And how long, do we give the haulers, like, a warning that it's going to be going up? Or do they just show up and they get charged the fee?
what I'm looking at correct me if I'm wrong, is it's better to give them notice instead of just showing up.
Absolutely.
And I'm suggesting that if we can give them notice now
Okay.
for the first of the year,
Yeah.
that would be the notice.
Thank you.
That's what you're gonna do, right, Mark? I highly recommend that. You're gonna notify them.
That's what I said.
I mean,
That's
yeah,
what I
Yes,
said.
I will.
I mean, I do too. I mean it too.
okay.
When do we mail out the forms, or do we mail or email the forms?
We email it to.
So that should do the warning at the same time when we send those forms out,
For the permit? you're
for the
referring to?
permits.
No, I'm gonna send them out, here's your permits, have them filled by the end of the year, and get them in. Now, that's gonna be one thing, and I'll also send out another one saying, hey, the cost is going up.
As of January 1st.
And I'll follow up with phone calls to make sure everything's okay.
Why wouldn't we do that all together?
You can do it both together, it's just semantics.
Roughly off the top of your head, Mark, how many haulers do you have to contact? I mean, 15,
It's one
25?
email. It's one email, it's about 30,
About 30 of them?
yeah,
Okay.
one email.
All right, for financials, I guess.
Yep, thank you, that's where we are.
Starting on page 40, I don't have a whole lot to go over this because they're not done. They're not complete. But there's a number of adjustments that still need to be made. They're gonna increase revenue and decrease expenses. There's a handful of adjustments that will go the other way and reduce revenue and increase expense. So, you know, I just don't put a whole lot of weight into these numbers, I guess is what I'm getting at. And also the project of, you know, recuperating the funds for Casella is another piece of it, so that should be reflected by next month. But anyway, on page 40, so far it's showing total net income of 2.025 million. Next page, total expenses for general fund of 2.041 million, for a net deficit of 15,749.73 cents. Balance sheet, total assets, 965,000. Total liabilities of 442,000. Beginning total capital of 522,800. Next page, the Murph income statement, looks like showing revenues of 64,323, expenses of 66,300, for a net deficit $1,977.68. And Murph balance sheet, total assets of 1.251 million. Total liabilities of $437 for total capital of 1.251 million. That's all I've got.
And that says October 31st, am I correct? So we still have 2 more months to put in here.
Financials are complete and reconciled through September 30th.
30th, oh, okay, so there's still a 30th.
Right,
Okay,
so these October numbers are not.
not in here, okay. So we still got a quarter to put in here.
For, yeah, to relate to the budget. we still have to
Yep.
do that.
Mr. Chairman, if we're over on our time, do we need to make any motions to
Are
extend?
we over on our time? What time is it now?
It's 7:35.
Okay, yes, I need a motion to extend for another, whatever you want.
Move to extend the meeting by another 20 minutes, or?
Sure.
20 minutes?
So we need to adjourn by 8:45?
Unless we extend it.
But
8:50.
Or just go to 8 o'clock.
7:50.
8 o'clock?
Yeah,
Let's
7:50.
go to 8 o'clock.
I move to extend the meeting to 8 o'clock.
Okay,
Second.
if there is no more debate, all in favor say aye.
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 And everybody's okay at home? Yep, everybody's,
Not really.
One opposed.
so,
I can stay, no problem.
okay, duly noted, okay, all right. review the rate adjustment.
Yeah, I think this has already been talked about before in the meeting here. You take that $15,000 deficit on the revenue on expenses, it's reflected here on, you can see this on page 48. This is something that we've been tracking for a couple of months to figure out how a rate adjustment and the surcharge would be warranted. And you take a look at the history over 8 years, and it's definitely lagging. So when this happens, we're going to lose money from our financial position, specifically in the capital fund. So this has to be in a plus position to cover the capital and have some emergency funds just in case something happens. I'd like to have 6 months of emergency, but, you know, some people say 3. We're definitely below this right now. So just one more indicator to suggest a rate increase. This rate increase is also we're gonna have to take a look at some of the other things in the transfer station, not this during this period, but looking at prices of, free on goods or maybe scale prices, maybe. I don't have that data to give you to make that decision. We'll be looking at that in upcoming meetings. I don't want to slash cut. I want to take a look at something and have a good reason for it and explain that to you as we come along. But it's not going to be just all on the policies. It's going to be spread throughout the organization where the market's allowed to be competitive.
What is the rate now, and what is the rate that you propose it be raised to?
It's
22,
40,
47,
47.
yeah, it's in there.
and go to 25.
Yeah, I'm showing the
I
page.
saw it in the
It's up,
report.
right here,
22,
Thank you.
47.
You got it right.
Thank
right
you.
here,
Thank you. Page 23.
23.
Thank you.
So basically, we've been going up every year by $1.50, $1.25, $2.
Well, by $1.
Yeah.
And this year, it's proposed to go up
Two something, 52.
$2.50. Is this a decision that's within the manager's discretion, or is this a item that requires a motion?
It would require a motion.
Well, we passed the budget, so it's in,
We
That was in
budgeted for it.
Okay, if it's assumed and it's been,
Yeah.
because you have it in
if
there.
the specification of your comment
Yeah, I guess he said it was already in there. Bill did.
would say that, yes, I'm doing this on behalf of the boards.
Yep.
I don't want to say I'm doing it by myself.
Oh, no, on behalf of the board, because when we passed that budget, that $25 is in there.
It was in there as the budget, but is that, I hate to be that guy right now, but is that concise enough? That seems somewhat that we budgeted for this amount.
Yep.
You haven't budgeted that you have a $25. You've budgeted a total that you used 25 to derive, and we approved that total.
Yes.
So we haven't, I think it would be prudent for the board, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Chairman, that we make a motion as a group to raise that to the 25 in order to live up to the budget expectation.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
I make a motion to raise
Excuse me.
I make a motion to raise the current district charge to $25
1 second,
for
Paul.
2025.
Let's hold on that motion.
Hold for a minute, Paul.
Am I correct in my understanding that last year the board had passed a budget on the assumption of a rate rise that the board did not approve?
Correct.
So then voting the budget does not seem like it would justify an increase in the hauler fees.
Okay.
I think we need a separate motion.
Okay.
So your
But it needs to be the
statement would
total, am I
enforce that
correct?
Yes.
Mr. Donaldson made
Yeah,
support
I
of
just
the motion.
wanted to clarify that
Yeah.
before we
Okay.
move to a motion.
When do we have a discussion?
We're going to have that as soon as Mr. McDonald comes back on.
Okay.
Donaldson.
Once the
Donaldson,
motion's
excuse me.
seconded, then we have
Paul.
discussion.
Paul,
Yeah,
Your motion should be raise the haulers
Surcharge.
surcharge.
I agree with
$25.
Gabe that I like the belt and suspenders approach, so I make a motion that we raise the hauler surcharge to $25.
I second.
Second for debate? Okay, now debate.
Oh, so, when Mark first started talking, he said that if we don't have enough money, then we don't get to put in our capital? Or it affects our capital?
Yes.
Okay, so my other thought here is that because of this inflation and how things are, I think we're losing out, and I spoke with Mark today earlier about this. We're actually losing out on quite a bit of money that we could be getting, even just in our rental income, which nobody seems to talk about with Murph, which would make us hopefully never be in a deficit with Murph. So that's just
That
my
is a
opinion.
subject we need to talk about when we
Sure.
discuss the contracts.
Sure, but I think this should have been talked about before this budget, so that this budget would have been different, and then you wouldn't have to raise the fee for the haulers who are already feeling the effects of everything else in life. That's just my opinion.
When is the current Murph lease up for renewal?
2031.
31.
So we
So we
don't
got
have
a
the
little
option
ways.
to renegotiate
Oh, yes, you
that
do.
fee.
We got some time to
I'll give
renegotiate
you
here.
Contract, you can read.
So when was the discussion on the contracts? When is that supposed to happen, Mr. Gill?
When the contracts come up for review.
There's,
And then we have to send them to the attorneys for review, and then they come back to us with their findings.
there is a couple that has gone to the attorneys, and related to the Casella lease for the transfer station.
Transfer station.
And the operations for prices for hauling.
To redirect to a point of order, should we do have an open,
Yeah, we gotta deal with
we
this
have an
first.
open motion on the floor to discuss.
Is there any more debate? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay.
Nay.
Okay. Next is the manager's report.
Thank you. On page 49, item number 1, we talk about, at the last meeting, someone asked about what's the latest on, and the greatest on our Vermont HHW Extended Producer Responsibility Law. Well, I talked about this in the narrative to some degree, but that explains the HHW area for the expenses on the budget. I also attached all the things that you may want to look at about this program. Basically, it's going to take a little while to happen. This is supposed to be organized perhaps in July this year, but we won't see anything happen this year, I don't think. So that's the update on that. There's a small group of managers that have signed up to do the tire EPR subcommittee. This is in response to having another EPR, the HHW, the bulbs, the e-ways, and so much more, to add the tire cost be offset by the producers. This committee is still ongoing. We're looking to see if we can have enough data to justify a legislative change. And at this point, I've been calling out to all the towns to find out how many tires do they have that they have to pick up for green up day or the highway department going by, whatever area, how many tires do they have? And it's a lot less, I say a lot less intentionally than anticipated. This is consistent through other districts too. So at this point, and I don't know, we're still going to look for more data to see if there's enough information to allow for legislative change. And it's ongoing. So if you have any, if you're one of the towns out there that did not submit information, please submit it. Let me know how many tires you have each year that the town crew pick up, or if you see a batch of tires being left around on farms or other locations, let us know what those things are. We can add that to the argument. Next, item number 3, R.H.R. Smith Accountant, which is our new accountant this year, joined us, joined me on November 22nd. We spent the whole day discussing all the documents that they need to start the 23 audit and the 24 audit.
Should we applaud?
One step at a
Not
time.
yet?
I'm just updating you on all the financial records we had to get for the 2 years, and we're budgeting 2 audits. You see that 2, so that was an increase. They were right on the spot. They're dun, 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 dun. And I like his vibe. So, which alluded to, we need to get the 2022 audit done first. And that is, as I was talking to them today on the phone, we're trying to nail down 1 or 2 little items that are still pending. And,
That they need from us?
yeah. And, or they need to review what we sent them is more accurate for some of them too. So hopefully we're gonna get this nailed down before the end of the year. And I'll keep you updated.
That just a typo on your mark, it says 2022 on that same line, the first line. It's supposed to be 24, right? You just met with them, right?
You're awesome. Yes. I was thinking.
For the
You know
22.
what I was thinking?
For the 22 audit.
Yeah.
We're ahead of
Yeah.
them on the audit then.
You were on the phone talking to the 22 auditor.
That's correct.
It is on my mind. It's on everyone's mind.
It is on everybody's mind, yes.
Yeah.
That's a big sticking point.
Yeah. Item number 4, some staffing updates. We had Nicholas join us on the 21st, and we had another person start on Monday, and he didn't show up the next day and ended up in the hospital with some serious medical conditions. And his doctor said that he won't be back for a while. So we have.
So we're back to the drawing
We're
board
still
again.
looking for that lead person. It's been posted. Again, I'm gonna advertise it in the newspaper again. It's on the website, social media. So we're looking for this position.
There was nothing that happened on Monday contributing to his,
No, it's,
I had to ask.
I don't even joke about that.
No, I know, but I had to ask.
With all the crazy and, well, we wanna focus on the good.
Yep.
Good guy, really good guy.
Yeah, I understand.
And,
Our office went through the same thing. We lost 2 people because of medical issues.
After one day of work, though, Mr. Gillen? After
One
one
in
day?
one day, one was 2 weeks.
Well, 2 weeks is better than one day, but yeah, okay.
It's better than us showing up at all.
Exactly.
And that happens too.
Yeah.
It's COVID, ever since COVID, I don't know. One other item.
Sorry, one question. He's no longer with the company, or is he on
No.
sick leave?
He resigned.
Okay.
So we officially,
Until he
okay.
can take care of his health and
Perfect, thanks.
for his family and so
Okay.
forth. Yeah.
So we're not,
We're looking for a new
Okay.
person, yes. One of the things that are in the budget, just to clarify, some of the things that we do provide, and this is kind of a follow-up to what the district has always considered safety as a requirement. And we fall under the standards of OSHA and VOSHA and safety equipment, safety gloves, safety respirators, all the whole gamut that you have. And within our policies, the district allows an $80 repayment, reimbursement for safety shoes. And with the prices going up in a kind of an ask from the staff, sometimes these boots are well over $80, sometimes maybe twice as much. And I'm asking that the board change that $80 to $125. It's not going to pay for the whole thing, but I think it shows some good
per year.
per year.
And you have the 125 within the budget that
Yes.
you've presented.
Yes, I do,
Do you need a motion for that?
please.
There's one right there.
Go ahead and read that line there, Susan.
Oh,
Tracy, that's
action
shoes.
needed.
Shoes.
Move to increase the cost of safety shoe reimbursement to $125 a year.
Oh.
Per year, okay.
There's
Do I
your
hear a second?
Yep, right there.
Per employee.
Yes.
Yes. Once a year.
Once a year.
Yes.
So, bringing that up, we talked about shoes in 5 departments with Rutland City. With the cops, we just decide every 2 years. Because the shoes are supposed to last, whatever, 2 or 3 years. Of course, I don't know, maybe you have a different, how's yours? Oh, was that 1 year?
Yeah, let the record show I stuck my finger through my shoe.
Anyway, 1 year is okay, you know, but it's a cap, so if they buy a $200 pair of shoes, you're only paying them $125. So,
Correct.
all right, so it's a cap, so there's some control there, yep, I have no problem.
So who seconded?
We talking about steel toes for these shoes?
Yes.
Yes, yes,
Because there's a requirement for the job that they do to have special footwear, so it is prudent for the employer
steel shoes, steel
to
toes.
provide support
stuff like
for that requirement that the employer is requiring.
Yep.
Who seconded?
Yeah, that's why I asked.
I second it, Mark.
So, any further debate? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? How about at home? Looks like we're okay, I don't hear a no, so we're good.
Then aye.
Oh, there we go.
Thank you.
Believe the ayes have it.
You guys do have it. Okay, go ahead, next.
And you guys already.
We already did that.
The public
Okay,
hearing
we did
notice.
that.
That completes my report.
Okay. Item 11, public comments for the next 2 minutes. Is there anybody from the public that wants to make comments? No one here from the public. There's nobody on the line from the public. Okay. Do we need an executive session? Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Oh, oh,
Oh,
Jay Hickory.
Yeah.
I'd like to ask a question about the book collection, that we all have the blue containers, and we don't seem to be able to get emptied. So what can we do about that?
Jay, do you have the contact information for the company?
Yes, I've tried to contact them. They said they'll come. I get no results.
Okay.
My container's been full for 6 months.
Oh, jeez. Jay, Brianna's right here, and I kind of went over my shoulder to ask if she can give them another try for you. If, I think, you know, I recall last week, there's someone who was from Killington that wanted to drop off some books at our place, and I said, absolutely, come on by. If you have anyone else looking to do books, you can ask them to come down and just drop them off.
I know the
They come to us by
Okay.
weekly.
I know the number on the blue box is, it now goes to Medicare, because I've called it twice. And they've got a Medicare person answer the phone trying to give me Medicare, and I said, well, I don't have Medicare. And they said, yeah. Right.
oh,
Company on
but
that.
no longer in
Oh,
business.
it's just the
Okay,
box.
all right. It's just a box. So maybe we should cover it up, yeah.
Yeah, somebody else bought it.
Reach out to them and say, you don't mind if we...
that's the contact you have.
Maybe we need to get that number and always call him.
Like I say,
Time is it?
I can get it, because they pick ours up in West Rutland, so if you want to call the West Rutland
746.
Library,
Yeah,
ask her and she'll give you the number.
okay. I'll do
Okay?
that tomorrow.
Because that way
Jay?
she'll,
I'll go by over and get it.
yeah, because,
Chairman?
Yes, sir.
Jay, Brianna's going to call you tomorrow, or definitely by the next day, to get some information, so she can help you out. Another thing is, perhaps we can check, because they're located all over the district and beyond. I'd like to know what their plans is to maybe change the number to be something updated, and we'll go from there.
I'm wondering if other towns are contacting the old company.
This is for books.
yeah,
Right,
return books, yeah.
Yeah.
They pick mine up after I got you.
Yeah, yep.
Right after that, so
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I'll have to go check the numbers down the bottom, just so hang on. See what it is.
Yeah.
I haven't looked.
Okay, so we got conversations everywhere, so we gotta bring it back around again. So you're all set, your report's done, there's no executive session, so a motion to adjourn
Mr.
is in
Chairman,
order.
Mr. Chairman, can I ask for an executive session on personnel with just the board at 7:48?
Personnel. You wanna go into executive session for
For
what?
personnel. That's a category you can go into executive session for.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. We gotta have a long,
No, it's not a long time.
Yeah,
no,
that
no, we
title.
got, no, we have, there's gotta be,
That
it's more than
title
just
was
that, it's the state
313,
language, 313, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
So you gotta make that motion, when you write it into into the minutes, you gotta put that whole language in there.
Okay.
Yeah, the 3.
Part of this new statute that just came out.
Yep.
So we're gonna amend your amendment, or your motion, to make sure we have the federal statute language in there.
I would have given that to you if it was on the agenda, but it's not.
Okay. So, motion to go into executive session. If there's no debate, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
By the way, did I get a second? Did I get, okay, second, okay.